Hello, this is Head to Head on uatv, and I'm Olena Mykhalchenko. Ukraine might start recognizing working experience of the migrants abroad, which is a crucially important indicator for pensions calculation. Moreover, the state might allow the ones who are making money outside Ukraine to apply for subsidies with the families in their homeland. Such an initiative has been proposed by Ukraine's Minister of Social Policy, Andriy Reva. To discuss this and other upcoming changes in current legislation, we welcome to the studio Olena Mykhalchenko, labor rights expert. Hello, and thank you for joining us today.
Good afternoon, thank you.
So, first of all, could you provide us with some more details about this initiative of Mr. Reva?
Of course, but initially I would like to start with some figures and some background about migration. Well, the lowest salaries in the whole Europe and economic situation in Ukraine and mass layoffs, devaluation of Ukrainian hryvnia, all of this pushing Ukrainians to seek employment abroad. This is logical.
Are the reasons.
Yes, of course. For example, the average salary in Ukraine currently 7,000 hryvnias, which is $300. So this is just the average indicator, because the real wage depends on the sector and also depends on the region.
Yes,
and if we take health sector, the average salary is even less. It's around 5,000 hryvnias, which is only $200.
It means healthcare.
Yes, healthcare. So $200 in Ukraine is not enough for living. It's not enough for paying utilities, for food. I'm not talking about renting a flat or renting a room.
It is not even enough to rent a flat, actually.
Yes. The whole amount of $200 is not enough for rent a flat. You're correct. So unlike Ukraine, medical workers in different countries, they are paid much higher. So it's logic that people are looking for these opportunities. That's why, according to recent data, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, they state that approximately 5 million people, Ukrainians, they are currently abroad. But experts state a much higher figure. It's
because
around,
some of them are abroad illegally?
Of course, yes. So this number is around 12 million,
wow,
which is incredible figure, yes. But accurate figures are difficult to establish because some people, they work illegally, and of course, it's very hard to calculate.
Well, probably for the ones who are working illegally abroad, this new initiative to apply for subsidies and to apply for calculation of working experience probably is going to be forbidden. Not for these ones, right?
Yes, of course.
But could you tell us more about this initiative and how would you estimate it, you and your colleagues at labor initiatives?
Well, when the person works abroad, usually if it's even legal employment, it doesn't mean automatically that this person will have the right to pension, because if the Ukraine have joint agreements with another country, so it can be solved. But if this agreement doesn't exist, so it means that this person cannot have pension in Ukraine when she or he gets back to Ukraine.
Right.
That's why
this is the current situation.
This is the current situation, yes. And initiative of Reva was to stimulate these people to pay the social contributions on the voluntary basis, because in order to have a pension in Ukraine, your employer, if you are employed, pays social contribution from your salary to the pension fund.
Of course.
If you are not employed or if you are working abroad, so nobody is making this payment. So Reva is just stimulating those people to pay this social contribution on the voluntary basis. It can be done by making an agreement and signing actually the contract with the pension fund and paying these contributions to the pension fund. It can be this contract can be concluded for a year, and you can pay this contribution.
Just for a year?
Yeah, and then you can make it longer.
But because
this is the minimum. This is the minimum.
How does it make sense? Because according to new pension reform, now our elderly people need 25 years of work experience to be able to receive pensions, and in 10 years this figure will grow
to
up to 35 years. So they would need not 1 year contract, but 35-year contract.
Yeah, the one year contract is a minimum for the pension fund, and of course. according to the recent pension reform, the number of these years of experience that the person should have in order to obtain the right to pension increasingly raised. Because now it is enough 15 years, minimum 15 years. So in 10 years, you're correct, it's going to be 35 years. It's almost impossible to have this 35 years because the rate of informal economy in Ukraine is around 50%. This is also another shocking figure. That's why even for those who are working now in Ukraine, it is hard to have a pension in the future, because many people, they work informally, they don't have contracts, they are paid under the table with these envelopes.
Registered. They're not paying taxes.
And of course, many of young people, they don't think about their future in 30 years, and especially about their pensions, because they probably, some of them, they don't see themselves in Ukraine in that years.
They don't see their future in Ukraine, you mean?
Yeah, they don't see the future.
What about migrants? Do you think that migrants would be interested in this initiative? Because for sure this initiative would promote their coming back to Ukraine in their elderly age. Sure, but this is the issue,
whether they want to go back or not, because there are two categories of people who are going abroad. First, they are looking for some temporary employment, like seasonal workers, and another for the longer term, they look for opportunities to live in another country for permanent residence. So, of course, who live there permanently, they're not interested in this initiative at all. They are trying to take their families to the country where they're living and working. But for the seasonal workers, of course, it can be beneficial because their families staying in Ukraine, and they are going there just for some period of time and coming back. But at the same time, we should understand that this initiative is just stimulating people for this pension, and it's stimulating people to go abroad. It doesn't stimulate people to stay in Ukraine and to manage some economic growth, because people are going massively abroad, and that's why we don't create new jobs, businesses are not opening, and Ukraine is losing cadres, is losing a lot of people, and not only the seasonal workers and working positions, but also many people who work in IT or research institutes, they are also going from Ukraine. So Ukraine in the position of a loser, unfortunately.
Could you compare the intensity of migration this year and before, for example?
There are different figures. I would say that there is some changes before the war started and after, because military action, they drastically impacted the map of Ukrainian migration. And prior to the conflict, the eastern and western labor migration was like roughly equal. But now workers are increasingly, they are choosing like Central and Western European countries, and they also they are choosing such countries like Poland, Slovakia, Hungary, Italy, Czech Republic, and they also choose some countries from the former Soviet Union. But also I should say that not only this geography changed, but also if earlier people from the Western regions usually migrate and looking for the better jobs because they are just closer to the border with Poland or other countries. But now it's this tendency is all over Ukraine. So
as far this tendency to move away is growing. You
of
mean
course it's growing
every
because
year.
For a comparison, the average salary in Poland is 500-700 euros, unlike Ukraine, $200-300. So of course people are looking for better conditions.
And as far as I understand, this initiative of Reva is basically the way for Ukraine to improve and to increase the pension fund.
Yes, of course, because there is a huge...
Would it result on increased amount of pensions? I mean, in hryvnias?
I would say that this initiative, of course, is targeted for the lowering this gap and the debt that the pension fund has already, because right now the solidar system based on working people, they making these contributions, and from these contributions we have the pensions for people who are not working. So more people go from Ukraine, so less people can make these contributions. So the more pension hole we will have. So we can have the situation in a few years that there is limited people, like a lot of much less a number of people that can maintain all those pensioners who are in Ukraine. So it can be very catastrophical, and that's why I think that this initiative of Reva a little bit will stimulate, people to pay these contributions. But I'm not sure that Ukrainians would want to pay this contribution, because still they will pay some minimum, and it's around 800 hryvnias per month. But what they can have at the end, like in 30 years or 35 years, they will have like 2, maybe 3,000 or even less of pension monthly.
3,000 hryvnias, which is a little more than $100 per month.
Yeah, so I think that people would ask themselves why I should pay for the state. I can just collect this money or put it in a bank with the interest rate, and to have this money when I'm retired.
What is the fee? How much would they be required to pay monthly if they sign the contract?
It's around, Reva said that it's 2,500 for 3 months, so it's approximately 800 per 3 months and 800 for 1 month.
800 Ukrainian hryvnias. So basically almost $100 for 3 months.
Yeah,
Which basically, if they pay 35 years, they could collect really good amount of money.
Exactly.
Well, okay. We will see what happens with this initiative. So far, I thank you for this interesting conversation.
Yeah, thank you.
That was Olena Mykhalchenko, labor rights expert. Thank you for watching Head to Head. I'm Olena Mykhalchenko. Goodbye.